You're not broken. You've just become logical in a world that runs on denial. Depression strips away comfort, but it also gives you clarity that few ever reach. You're not broken. You've just started seeing reality without its makeup. When depression hits, people think you've lost hope. But what really happens is quieter, deeper, and far more rational than anyone imagines. It's like your brain turns off the background music of optimism, and suddenly you hear the raw truth of everything around you. In this video, we're going to explore why depressed minds often become brutally logical, how loss sharpens reason, how your brain shifts into survival analysis mode, and why philosophy suddenly starts to make sense. By the end, you'll see that this strange clarity isn't a flaw to fix. It's a signal from your mind asking for balance, not escape. 1. The harsh clarity. It usually starts quietly, maybe after a breakup, a failure, or a loss that left you hollow. You stop pretending everything's fine, and for the first time you see things as they really are. Psychologists call this depressive realism, the idea that people in mild depression often judge reality more accurately than others. While most of us live wrapped in optimism and self-serving illusions, depression strips those layers away. It doesn't make you smarter, it just removes the noise. You notice how fragile things are, how people promise forever but mean for now. It's painful, but it's also honest. That raw clarity can feel cruel, like staring at life without filters. But what if that painful clarity isn't punishment, but evolution? What if your mind, in its darkness, is trying to grow sharper, to understand the world, not escape it? 2. When loss turns the brain into a philosopher. When life collapses, logic often takes the wheel. Imagine losing your job, your partner, your sense of purpose. The emotions are unbearable, so your mind does what it knows best. It starts solving. You replay every detail, every decision, analyzing what went wrong as if the answer could undo the pain. Psychologists call this analytical rumination, the brain's survival mode for deep problem solving. It's not overthinking for fun. It's your mind trying to restore order after chaos. When hope disappears, reason becomes the only tool left. This logical phase isn't coldness, it's self-defense. The brain narrows its focus, cutting out distractions, forcing you to confront only what truly matters. It's like standing in a burned house, realizing which walls were load-bearing all along. But what happens when that survival logic becomes your only language? When thinking replaces feeling. That's where depression starts to look less like awareness, and more like imprisonment. 3. The brain without rewards. Inside your brain, something subtle shifts. The reward system, powered by dopamine, slows down. Things that once lit you up now feel flat. Music, laughter, even love. Without those emotional rewards, your mind stops chasing pleasure and starts analyzing instead. It's like switching from color to black and white. Details become sharper. Emotions fade into outlines. Scientists have found that during depression, the prefrontal cortex, the region for planning and reasoning, becomes more active. You start making colder, clearer judgments. You notice contradictions, flaws, hypocrisies that others ignore. Depressive logic is like a CPU running in safe mode. The system hasn't crashed. It's conserving energy, stripping away all non-essential feelings just to stay online. But if the brain gets too good at surviving, what happens to the part of you that still wants to live? 4. Stoicism, existentialism, and depressed wisdom. When you lose joy, philosophy starts to sound like home. You scroll past quotes from Marcus Aurelius or Nietzsche and think, yeah, that actually makes sense now. Because Stoicism and existentialism don't try to cheer you up. They validate the silence you're living in. Stoics taught, expect nothing, accept everything. Existentialists said, meaning isn't found, it's created. To someone in depression, those aren't abstract ideas. They're survival rules. You start realizing that the truth hurts less when you stop fighting it. That peace doesn't mean happiness. It means surrender. Depression can act like a philosopher in disguise, forcing you to question what matters when all illusions fall away. In that way, the mind isn't breaking down. It's breaking open. But logic alone can't carry you forever. Because when every truth is stripped bare, you still need one thing to rebuild: hope. 5. The trap of too much logic. Logic can save you, but it can also trap you. When you see every risk, every possible failure, it becomes hard to move at all. You stop dreaming because you already know how it might end. You stop loving because you've calculated the pain of losing. That's the paradox of depressive logic. It's true, but it's not helpful. You've built a fortress of reason. Safe, yes, but silent. And in that silence, life quietly slips by. The truth is, we need both: realism to see the world clearly and hope to give it color. Therapists call this dual awareness, the ability to hold two truths at once. Yes, life is fragile and unfair. And yes, it's still worth reaching for joy. Because clarity without warmth becomes ice. And no one survives long in a frozen mind. So, are depressed people more logical? Yes, but that's only half the story. Depression strips away illusions, dulls the noise of reward, and forces your mind into analysis mode. It's not madness, it's a survival instinct. Your brain's way of saying, if I can understand it, maybe I can survive it. That logic can be powerful, even beautiful, but it needs balance. Because pure reason without hope is like a lamp with no flame. Bright, but cold. The goal isn't to silence that logic, it's to soften it. To let warmth and emotion back in without losing the clarity you earned in the dark. Your realism is not a flaw. It's wisdom shaped by pain. Now it's time to let that wisdom guide you, not cage you. If this message hit home for you, take a breath. You're not alone in this clarity. Depression doesn't erase who you are. It reveals what's real. So tell me, have you ever felt too logical, too aware, during dark times? Share your story below. Someone reading might need to hear your version of the truth. And if you found comfort or reflection here, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Not for numbers, but to keep this space alive. Because the more we talk about the silent, logical side of pain, the less alone it becomes. Next time, we'll explore how to turn that logic into healing. Stay gentle with your mind. It's already working hard to understand the world.